Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael.
This is Cleve.
And this is Friendship Supreme. And we're the podcast that dares ask, can Cleve and Michael actually make mistakes? This entire episode actually proves that we can. So yes, the answer is yes.
Not necessarily mistakes, just deeper indulgence of what we've spoken previously.
It's true.
And possibly misspoke.
Corrections. What it was the tone of our voice came off weird and you heard the wrong thing.
And you know what? I care enough about this podcast to say I'm going to make sure you have the right information.
That's right. That's what we're here for. All right. Yep, so this episode is going to be us going through episodes 1 through 8 to kind of give you guys a couple corrections to some of the things we've said or clarification on some of the things we may not have had all the information for. Starting off, the most important correction that could possibly be there is the wonderful movie that Ben Affleck was in with Jennifer Lopez, and it was Gigli, and apparently I was saying giggly. You were. Because it's spelled Gigli, and that's giggly. But it's Gigli. Yeah.
Gigli. Just Gigli. So the other G is silent? Gigli.
Then you'd spell it Geelee.
You never need to know this information. In fact, I watched the trailers so that I could get the name of the movie, and then I forgot it, and so I watched it again to get the name of it. And of course, it was like the old school movies where they don't say the name till like the end, and it was painful. And whatever I was on, I think I was on IMDb, it wouldn't let me skip forward.
So, if anything else, know that we've forced, together as a group, we've forced Cleve to have to watch that trailer twice.
It's too many.
He may honestly be the only person that's watched the trailer.
The next thing goes into our Captain Marvel review. We talked about the Kree hit squad that are actually called the Star Force, which I don't think they ever said that we would have known that.
I don't think
but in the comic world, Star Force.
Do they have any relation to the Nova Corps?
No. I'm going to say no.
I guess not because they're Kree, so...
Right. Kree, apparently, from what I learned, Kree runs the Kree. They don't really intermingle.
Kree is Kree. Although what's weird is this, like the species are all different, so it's weird to say that.
Right.
I don't understand the logistics in that.
That actually goes into the next point. Yep. If you want to check that one out.
The blue-skinned Kree are purebred Kree. Human-like skinned Kree are much more durable than their blue Kree counters. Basically, a way for the race to evolve after becoming evolutionarily stagnant.
Yeah, so they said, we've gone as far as we can, being pure, let's go make outside babies.
So yeah, that makes sense to why they're all... So, if you want stronger babies, go find stronger aliens.
Yeah, but I remember that was a part that bothered us a little bit about that whole squad, is that some looked humanoid and some looked straight blue Kree. That's why.
Nah.
I feel like now you can rest.
I can now feel like maybe Captain Marvel was number 1 on the list of movies. Still top 5. Anyways, we spent a long time, if you didn't even watch that episode, we spent a long time arguing on where Captain Marvel lies in the cinematic universe rankings. Cleve and I disagree greatly.
Yeah, we do. In the movie, they changed Captain Marvel's color selection, and I remember we talked about there were Easter eggs in there we really couldn't tell because we don't really know the most about Captain Marvel. Apparently, the green and white were the original colors of Captain Marvel in the comics, and if you notice, it stayed on that one a little bit longer than some of the other colors. I thought they would have went with the Ms. Marvel colors, but it didn't seem like they touched on that at all.
Going through there, you didn't notice if they did that at all? That's a shame, because that would have been a nice little throwback to, well, not throwback, but nod
Montage,
to Miss Marvel, who is a Pakistani superhero. The first of her kind. Right?
Yes. Yeah. It just felt weird.
Ah, okay.
The first of her kind.
Yeah, I was just, it's exciting.
The first Pakistani-based superhero, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we talked about how with Miles Morales being half black
Not the
and
first
half...
Pakistani.
Right, no, it's not the first Pakistani. No, we talked about how Miles Morales being half black, half Mexican was exciting to you. It's,
For sure.
There's... Presumably there is at least one, if not thousands, of Pakistani women that now have a character they can relate more to.
Yeah.
But Miss Marvel's a cool one. Camilla Khan?
Camilla
Khan. One of the other things I think we wanted to touch up on in the comic books, Carol Danvers' cat was actually named Chewie, based off of the famed movie Star Wars with Chewbacca. As most of you probably have already heard by now, Peter Mayhew unfortunately passed
just
May 2nd, May 3rd? May 2nd May 2nd. It was actually kind of cool. We went to the Dallas Fan Expo, and at his table where he was supposed to be giving autographs, they had a whole memorial with flowers and different little books for fans to come by and sign. And that line was honestly one of the longest lines that was there the entire day.
I kind of on one hand I thought to myself, like, who's that book going to? Like, I guess getting a book of random people to me is not interesting.
Agreed.
But then at the same time, I guess seeing the pages of people who were excited for my father or grandfather, I guess that sets a different tone to it.
Yeah, and I think so. The 501 or the 501st Legion was the one that put it all together. And I believe, if I understood correctly, they are going to send it to his family. Which, yeah, I think that being able to see how many people your family has, or your
what you meant,
how much he's meant
yeah.
to everybody else, while on that scale of things. Because Peter Mayhew was one of those ones that was really close to fans and really relatable, or he was easy to talk to.
I actually saw a quote by Harrison Ford where Harrison Ford. Mark Hamill is out there like all the time. He's always talking. He doesn't hold his opinion back. He's on social media. Harrison Ford, you don't see any of that really. He's just kind of to himself. And there was a quote where he was saying, we were partners on the set. We worked together. We were friends for 30 years, and I loved him. I'm like, it must be hard for them to be in this family where you're all about the same age and people are just kind of
you start seeing people
passing
pass
around you.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely. And a lot of them are, in reality, too young to be passing away.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, so her cat's name was Chewie, and this one, her cat's name is Goose, as a reference to Top Gun, which is a Tom Cruise film about flying. I was like, it's a Tom Cruise film about him flying and being in the Navy Top Gun pilot program, and his best friend Goose, who dies. Spoiler alert.
I mean, we're past the point.
It's 30-something years now. But there's going to be a Top Gun 2, so don't worry. Val Kilmer is reprising his role.
We talked about that too, didn't we?
Yeah. we had a bit of a conversation about him.
Man, this episode is full of so many Easter eggs. It's so fantastic. I'm going to read this one off because it's pretty long. Goose the cat is a flurkin. Flurkin are alien creatures resembling Earth house cats. There is no difference between the appearance of an Earth cat and a flurkin. For the most part, they are exactly the same. However, physiology, that word.
Physicology.
Yes.
Physiological.
Lee. No, it doesn't fit. Differences do exist. Flurkins lay eggs to produce offspring. They can drop over 100 at a time. They have tentacles that extend from their mouths. I feel like we're past the spoiler point on that. And they have human-level intellect. Flurkin are from the alternate reality, Earth 58163.
So the interesting thing is, how did it get to?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a great backstory to that.
In the comics, I'm sure there is.
Right.
In the MCU, they're like, hey, did you know this thing exists?
Don't even
We're
worry
just going
about
to make it happen.
Yeah, and if you think about the Furies, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye, all comes back to this random cat that he loved.
Yeah, our next one is, and our next little fact about Captain Marvel, which this tends to be the one that we have the most stuff that we had to either go back and correct or just clarify or bring more light to certain subjects.
Yeah, the knowledge of Captain Marvel is very
limited.
limited.
Like we've said before, we like to think that we know a little bit about everything, but not a lot about any particular item. So if we do ever go into something and we want to give some kind of in-depth answer, we like to try to come back and give you that closure. But I remember talking about this in the episode, saying how it was kind of frustrating knowing that in the comic books that Carol Danvers was supposed to be like an ace pilot, and it was frustrating watching her have to deal with the plight of being a woman and not, getting the trust or not being welcome to the community.
And fighter pilots, which I didn't...
At first I felt it was unnecessary. Cleve actually brought up a great point in that episode, and so he went back and did a little more research on it. During the exact time that they are talking about, which is early 90s, late 80s, that was when the first female pilot ever came to be.
Yep, 1993.
1993. It was Jeannie Marie Leavitt. I just want to make sure I said that right. Mm-hmm. She was a general officer in the United States Air Force, and she became the first United States Air Force female pilot in 1993, and was the first woman to command a U.S. Air Force combat fighter wing. So makes more sense, more context to why she was dealing with the struggle as much as she was at the time.
Yeah, just a cool little side fact. The fact that it worked with the time and what they had going on, like it just, I don't know if it just fell into their lap or if that was planned.
Yeah.
The next one was just a misspoken order. We said that Fury dusted first. It was actually Maria Hill. Maria Hill dusted. Fury went for the pager.
Because we can't actually let Samuel L. Jackson say bad words. But he wants to so badly.
I want him to so badly.
No, man.
I want one MCU to be like,
I mean, well, in fairness, Deadpool.
That's not MCU.
It is now. We'll see if they can do Deadpool 3.
They've already said that they don't want to mess with Deadpool at all.
Oh, really?
They said, you're doing great. Keep it up.
I mean, and they are, so.
Maybe we'll pull you in for one or two things, or maybe we'll let you use a character for one or two things, but we're not going to mess with you. Keep it up.
All right, works for me.
The next topic that we're going to dive into is we talked about superhero comics with disabilities. Because disability is also part of diversity, not just race. So it's cool to know that there's different superheroes out there that have...
I think it came up when we were talking about Hawkeye or Black Manta, one of the two.
Yes, I believe so.
Because Black Manta has autism.
Yes. I didn't know
Hawkeye
you were looking for
deaf. No, I was just making sure. And then Hawkeye is deaf.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I kind of ruined it a little bit, but yes, Hawkeye is deaf. A villain named Crossfire was actually trying to fight the Avengers and get them to kill themselves using a brainwashing tool with sound waves. And I'm told by Cleve that it's evidently something like the Kingsman movie.
Yes, the Kingsman movie. If anybody's ever seen that. But, yeah, there's a scene where they're all in a church, and they turn it on, and all the church people start murdering themselves. Oh. Or each other, I should say.
He happens to use it on Hawkeye, and Hawkeye and Mockingbird end up beating the crap out of each other.
Hawkeye's wife.
Which is, yeah, correct, sorry. Mockingbird and Hawkeye are together.
Intimately.
And so they are beating the crap out of each other. He stops it just long enough for them to be able to see what they've done to each other. And at that point in time, Hawkeye takes one of his sonic arrows, puts it in his mouth, detonates it, and makes himself go deaf so he can't be...
Mind controlled.
So it is self-caused.
Yeah.
But, that being said, it is still someone that is deaf and handles being an Avenger while being deaf, So it's kind of someone for...
Yeah, he's already super heavy-hearted because he doesn't have any powers.
Right.
So the fact that he also has that disability is kind of interesting. The other one that is less known is Moon Knight. It just kind of classifies him as mental illness. People think it's more like schizophrenic, but it would be more of like a multiple personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a 12-issue run that I actually bought that was written by... don't know the name. Brian... I can't remember his last name. I just bought it too. Anyway.
What's it called? Midnight?
Yes. Moon Knight, Brian... I want to say Michaels, but that feels too easy. Michaels. Not Michael. Brian and Alex something.
Nah, keep going.
Yeah, we'll get it here in a second. It's a 12-issue run where he is going around solving crimes, and his multiple personality disorder is creating visions of Spider-Man and Wolverine and Captain America, and he's solving these crimes while having conversations with these other characters, which causes him to kind of figure it out faster than any of the other superheroes that are working by themselves. So it's a real interesting run. Unfortunately, apparently it's only 12 issues, but yeah, it's a disability that he runs with and handles it well, apparently.
Moon Knight's a real fun character anyway.
Yeah, he is.
I don't see a Brian anything. The fictional superhero appearing, blah blah blah, created by Doug Moan and Don Perlin.
What did you Google?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight Brian. Literally what I said. I know you're not feeling well, but
Oh, Brian Michael. Brian Michael Bendis.
Bedness.
and Alex.
Hold on, Alex part's cut off. Maleev.
You have it written down here.
M-A-L-E-E.
Do I?
Bendis and Maleeves.
Their last names. I was looking for Brian, so I scanned over it.
He was down himself and it was there all along, guys.
But yeah, so
You gotta believe.
I actually plan on reading it and reviewing it, maybe for one of the podcast episodes. Let you know how it is. I bought that. I plan on buying the Hawkeye issue where he goes deaf, and Fury's Big Week, which we talked about before as well.
One of the other characters that has a disability of sorts is Iron Man, having the lead poisoning or iron poisoning or some kind of poisoning.
The
Radioactive, shrapnel poisoning that is slowly crawling towards his heart. And that is why he created the arc reactor, which then keeps the poison away from his heart. And every time it gets pulled out, the poison gets a little bit closer.
But apparently in the MCU, we said you can just have surgery, get it removed. I don't know why we didn't do that.
I don't
Movie
acknowledge
number
that.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just more of a heart condition is how that one's defined. Next one, Doctor Strange, the nerve damage in his hand. That one's a little more common, just like Iron Man's, because of the movie you're more familiar with. He gets into a car crash. He's a neurosurgeon and ends up losing his moneymaker, which ends up having him go to the Himalayas and meet the Ancient One, and then the story goes on. You've seen the movie. It came out a long time ago.
If you didn't, go see it. It was actually pretty solid.
I thought you liked that one of the lesser ones.
It was a solid movie. I did feel like they played too much Inception, like too much of the.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people like the bendy stuff,
thing.
and I was I didn't need it. And plus, I needed Dormammu to be a bigger part of that movie, and he wasn't, because I feel like he's such a bigger part of the MCU. But anyway, the next one would be Professor X. Most people would think it was the fact that he's bald, but it's actually the fact that he's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
What?
There's bald men with disability everywhere.
Which, and actually, I don't know. You might know better than I would. In the movies, they say it's because of his powers. Mm-hmm. His powers eventually crippled him, and thus when he nullified his powers, he suddenly got his walking back. In the comics, I've thought he was just always in a wheelchair.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think he was born. He wasn't born that way. And in fact, I remember looking this up and researching it, and there's just so many stories of how it happened that I didn't put any.
Okay.
But
there's always a story as to why he ended up in there.
Right.
Is it ever power related? Like his powers?
No.
It was a weird take
Random
on it.
things,
I didn't understand like his powers making him suddenly.
I don't know
able
why I
to
can't
walk.
use my powers to make me walk
Right, he has the power to take over control of his mind.
and move his brain to other people.
Yeah, so
Whatever, though.
But anyway,
And the last one, again, another super obvious one, which is why it was at the top of the list originally before we got to the last one, which was first, which was Hawkeye's deafness that we said. Daredevil. It's really easy to forget that he actually has the disability of being blind.
I had a conversation actually with a coworker the other day that did not know he was blind.
Because it's really easy to forget.
Yeah.
Because he's so
Intuitive,
good and
yeah.
yeah.
He uses echolocation.
Yeah.
Location.
When I was thinking like
Friendly.
I was thinking like I guess his name was
What's your
Echo.
powers? I recycle good.
Wait, then like I was thinking like Eco the dolphin, but do you guys pronounce that Echo as well?
It's
Yeah.
also Echo.
ECCO? Eco?
Echo. Eco is
I
ECO.
think it was CHO.
Like I don't think they made it that obvious that they spelled it like an echo.
Yeah.
Oh well, my
Stephanie,
apologies.
Echo the Dolphin.
My whole life I thought it was ECCO,
I did too.
and I always called it Eco. I just think it was like a tomato situation. Like I'm not thinking like eco
Friendly?
friendly. I still know that I'm thinking like eco or echo. I guess.
No, I get you. I mean, I just don't know what to say.
Anyways,
There's nowhere for me to go from here.
those
Oh, Michael was right. It is ECCO.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like, you know how like they have like pictures on the internet of different labels that you remember a certain way, but they were actually completely different. Maybe it's that. Maybe you're the one that saw it, man.
man,
Is that your power?
no.
Mandela.
That's who knows. Whatever Stephanie said, it's not a real word, but it's
The
Nelson Mandela.
Pinata effect.
Mandala.
Nelson Mandela effect.
Mandela?
You go to prison
Mandela?
for apartheid.
Yes.
Villa Vanilli. You pretend that. Oh, I did some research on them the other day.
Why?
I was watching. You made fun of me for this. I watched this show called The Masked Singer, and I was so convinced one of them was one of the people from Milli Vanilli. So then went and researched them, and life hit one of them real hard.
As it should.
The other one not so bad. One of them real rough.
As it should.
Also, not to time this episode or anything, but did you see Saturday Night Live with Adam Sandler on it?
I saw one clip of one thing, and that was it.
Did you watch the song about Chris Farley?
Yeah.
Because that was emotional.
That
and
was
it hit me hard.
I saw it on Leslie Jones's Instagram, and she was like, "There was not one dry eye in this house."
No, it was rough.
He
I mean,
always pays the montage to him, man.
really. Well, and I say so. This is his first appearance on SNL since he was an actual cast member. Like he's never hosted it since, and so Katie asked me, she's like, "Is it because of an anniversary of his death?" Or something? I don't know.
I felt like he'd been on there before, not necessarily hosting, not necessarily
well,
cast
that
member,
was the
maybe
that
like
was what it,
popping up.
oh possibly because that was what they kept saying was like this is his first time ever hosting it, which is a big deal that you were a cast member and then 20 years goes by, not one time have you ever come to host it.
Yeah, because they let Will Ferrell host it like
Frequently.
3 times, really. Like, if I'm trying to realistically pick a number, about 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we can get some fact checked on that.
But that being said, he was on there. He was talking about, and he was singing a song about Chris Farley, and he was talking about how he kept telling him, slow down, you're gonna end up like John Belushi or John Candy, and it was like Chris Farley's response was, "Those guys are my idols. If I go out that way, so be it." And it's like, well,
Part of
it's
why I
kinda
love
crazy.
them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You find that a lot of those guys in comedy that are some of the funniest guys deal with some of the darkest depression that they,
I think the saddest one to be, I mean, obviously they're all really sad because I remember when he passed and that stuck, but Robin Williams too. You think it's just someone who he's lived his whole life. He had a child. He is this grown man.
Yeah.
And he's
someone that brings so much happiness to everybody else,
Right.
and to be suffering so much.
And to have done so much with your career too, you know what I mean? It's not like he was up and coming, like he had made it. Nobody would, he couldn't walk down the street and nobody not recognize him, and for him to still be struggling with it, is
I think talking about the mental illness and stuff.
Yeah,
and just talking about the mental illness and stuff started making me think of the Chris Farley part of it, and that's why I was. But yeah, anyway, sorry, it's out there.
Are you about to die again? Are you good?
No, it's fine. I mean, I don't feel good, but.
Do you need some alcohol?
No.
Sake?
No.
I've got so much of that.
You want to talk about the tea one, man? Because I feel like you digged a little deeper than that one than I did.
Yep.
I started you on the trail, and then you just, like, ran.
So, one of the other things that we wanted to talk about in another episode was when we talked about the monkey-picked tea, or chai. I think it's specifically a chai tea, but is that there is this myth or legend that there are monkeys that picked tea from the tops of the trees to find the finest leaves. I had spouted it out like it was the honest God truth. Cleve went and proved me wrong.
It's not that I wanted to prove you wrong. I just wanted to know more.
Yeah, in fairness...
It felt like a great story to dig deeper into.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. In fairness, I should have a long time ago. The people at Tijuana, which no longer exists anymore, maybe this is why, told me this. And you go to it. Yeah, they got bought by... They're still, after that, are no longer. I don't see
really?
Them. Yeah, like their stores have disappeared.
No.
I actually really liked them. I
would go
I
there
like
too.
Tea occasionally. I don't like the process of having to make it for myself, but...
Oh, yeah, no.
It's miserable.
If they can put the plastic
Oh, yeah,
top on it
absolutely.
with my straw, that'd be nice.
But at one point in time, I was in there, and they were like, "Oh yeah," they told me this whole story about it, and I was super into it, and like a little kid listening to a story. I'm like, I'm pumped about this tea now. Yes. So I went out spouting it like the gospel, and Cleve found out that apparently so there's plenty of stories, and actually we reached out to a couple people on social media, mainly the Overwatch League teams in China, because that's kind of what we know.
Go to your source.
These are the types of things we know. They never responded, so if you're out there and you happen to be from China or know lots about China and happen to have some kind of knowledge on this, feel free to write us, friendship.supreme@gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on Twitter and Instagram
and Facebook.
And Facebook. We're there. We're everywhere.
Please. We're so available.
We just are ready to respond to you.
We just want to know.
We respond to like the weirdest emails we get. So anything you send us, we'll probably respond.
Even 27-page emails.
We have received I think it was 7 pages of 28 different points about different things that someone didn't agree with us on. We're working on a response on that right now. Maybe we'll just have a verbal video response that we'll send to the user or the listener. But that being said, so of all of the stories we've found about this monkey-picked tea, the best thing we can come up to or surmise is that at one point in time, some white guy showed up in China and was like, "How do you get this tea to taste so good?" And they were like, "Oh, we have monkeys go get the tea leaves," kind of just messing with the guy. And he went back and told everybody. And everybody was like, "Yes, that is the thing."
Yeah, that's the story that I found, because we both started rolling up our sleeves and really digging to try to find this answer. And that's more or less what we came up with. That
I tweeted the official Twitter of China. They didn't respond, but I did. I added China.
But what's funny about it is the legend is because China didn't want to give up their secrets of how their tea is so good, so they just went to this white man and said, "Here's how I did it." And this gullible American or European,
you
was
some
like,
European. Yeah, got this. Let's do this.
And
went
wrote a
off to
story.
tell people about it.
It wrote a story that went crazy, and that's how the rumor started.
Yep.
With the legend, I should say.
Yup.
You want to know a fun fact?
Sure.
Chai tea, saying chai tea is like saying ATM machine. Chai means tea. Spice tea.
Okay. I had to take a second to figure out what you meant by ATM machine.
Oh, because machines at the end of the M.
Automatic teller machine.
No, I mean, I said it took me a second, but then I got it.
Oh.
Chai means tea.
It's kind of more what old people say anyway.
What's that?
ATM machine. Like the
I
YouTube.
just Venmo everything now.
Who goes to ATM?
Cash App.
Yeah. make that.
PayPal, whatever. Bitcoins. Whoop, whoop. Do I sound millennial enough yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You're there, man.
Next one.
You've made it. The next one is Will Smith related, because I had said sometimes Will Smith isn't super great. Love Will Smith and everything he does. No, I take that back. Will Smith, I love him and everything he does, but sometimes he's just Will Smith. Which makes him
good enough for me.
Which makes him great, because it holds up. You Fresh Princeing it up in Bad Boys, and I love it, and give me more. But does that make you a one-dimensional actor? So I picked up some of the movies where he had layer to him, and we said it the first time. Immediately, The Pursuit of Happiness. Like
one, I don't think you included in your list is 7 Pounds.
Yes, I did miss that one, but yes, that one was really good too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you saw that one. I didn't know that you saw that one.
Long ago, when it first came out.
Yeah. After Earth, I'm gonna bring that up to him, because
that
he needs
movie
to know
was,
about it.
That movie was literally only created so that Jaden had a movie he could be in.
Yeah, and I will say, what's sad enough, Will Smith had the best part in that movie. So he was it's almost the main actor, but still, Will Smith gave this no longer being afraid and no longer having fear speech. That was just the best, and it was the not even redeeming moment of the movie, but it was the best moment of the movie. Focus with him and Margot Robbie, where they were hustlers. I Am Legend, 50-50, because he dug deep in some parts.
But when he was yelling at his mannequin, that was Will Smith.
Right. And then Ali, which, to be fair, asks for Will Smith-ish.
Muhammad Ali was very cocky and very...
They're pretty
they're
close to being the same, so it works. That's why I added it, but
absolutely.
Just a couple. I mean, the other ones were like Independence Day.
But he was Will Smith. You're right.
Right.
We talked about that. Yeah. Yeah. He's good at being Will Smith.
Yeah, and I am good with you being good at.
He's
being
like
Will
our
Smith.
number one fan. So in all honesty,
Yeah, I know, but if I don't critique him, he never
it's
knows.
true. We bring that tough love. Him and Jablinski. He's putting footage of Jumanji, by the way. Jack Black, for those of you who don't know, has a YouTube channel called Jablinski. He's putting footage of Jumanji. Are they doing a second one, or is he
so.
just... Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if there was going to be a second one, or we just thought, let's start posting footage of from behind the scenes when we were doing Jumanji 2 years ago.
I didn't think that. I guess I don't know. I thought they're doing a part 2, but I didn't think that they were
The same.
I don't know how you use them again. The same avatar.
You go back in the movie. It's just
the same
new people.
kids?
No, other kids.
All right.
The kids.
I mean, then we have to watch them learn each other all over again.
Yeah.
It'll be the same movie.
No, it'll be slightly different. It'll be interesting.
Sure, man. Sure.
Yeah. Or, here we go. The video game characters come to real life.
All right.
You know, like when the hunter ended up being Alan's dad.
And in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
which is where I assume that movie was shot. Seems boring enough.
The next thing we have on our list is actually just a We Told You So. And we've been waiting for this We Told You So for a while. We're going to post this video about 2 weeks after. So, real quick, if you have not seen Endgame yet, go ahead and skip forward a minute, 2 minutes, whatever else. You know what? When you see Diva standing back up, then you can watch us again. And 3, 2, 1. America is ready for a black Captain America.
Called it.
Nailed it.
So pumped about it.
Yes. This is one of the most exciting moments on this podcast because we've been talking about this since our last podcast we used to have. Mm-hmm. That America was not going to be ready, and we were concerned about it because they were going to hinder the potential that the MCU had for Sam Wilson to be Captain America, and they went for it. Disney made the big jump, and we're pretty sure that the bricks that laid it to get there was having people like Black Panther, having people like, well, us, obviously, but having Black Panther, Captain Marvel, those types of characters that sort of bent like the very
Not
Captain
male
America
white-
looking,
white
right?
male leads,
Not
yeah.
Steve Rogers, every one of them looking like Steve Rogers. or having a name Chris.
They don't all look like them.
They're all Chris, man. Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Chris something.
Crisco.
Crisco. Yeah, they're all the same.
Chris Scarlett Johansson.
So yes, Chris Scarlett Johansson. So they are now having a Falcon /
Yeah, they've sold me for Disney Plus immediately when I made
absolutely.
that choice.
Yeah, which we
Because I
talked
need
about.
to
They're
see
going to
that
change
show.
the name of the show. It'll now be like Cap and Winter Soldier or something. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we were right.
Also,
Alright.
new Jumanji, same characters.
Oh, new Jumanji, same characters.
Same characters.
Is it the kids same too?
Kids? Oh, no. They're the same Jack Black, like.
Oh, okay, so
characters.
Jack Black, The Rock, and the other two.
You know
would
what's
be
so
like
interesting
Scarlett
to me?
Johansson
And
was in
other
that?
people.
No, it
Who
was
was the
the
girl?
chick who played Nebula. I don't remember her name.
Ah, okay.
You know what's so funny to me is like at a certain point you're just
Kevin
hanging out.
Hart. He's also in there.
Yeah, I'm very.
At a certain point you're just hanging out with your friends. Like some of these movies are.
But
Just,
how cool is that? Like that's so
oh,
exciting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not. Well, even if it's done right, great. Jumanji was pretty good, but then you get stuff like Grown Ups.
Grown Ups
Adam
2.
Sandler?
Grown Ups 1 was actually pretty good, I feel like. Grown Ups 2 was rough. But Grown Ups 1 I liked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like
I agree.
all of the qualities, not
Yeah, no,
there.
absolutely.
They're just kind of
Kevin James was somehow allowed into the friend group, and I don't understand that still, but whatever.
That's the I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry connection.
Ah, good call. Yep, that's what it was. Anyway, on to the next one.
The pop contest, custom pop that we are going to make for someone.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Yeah, we have to come up with the details of it and talk to our producer, Stephanie, because she no longer has a wedding to plan, so...
We just wanted to talk about it and bring it back up.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
so that she knows that we're really going to make her do this. And either... I haven't decided if you win a custom pop of us or a custom pop of yourself. I'm not sure which one yet.
All of us together, man. 3-pack.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
And what we'll do is
That's
we'll
a
just
lot
cut
of
the
work.
size of the boxes and tape them together.
That's so much work. We'll see. You know what?
Do
You know what? Here's the thing.
I'm
Here-
the ideas guy.
Here's when it happens, guys. We get to 1,000. That's reasonable. 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's when we do it. So share it.
I was easy. I was going to go 100.
No, 1,000.
1,000.
1,000's fair. So it's reasonable. That's a lot of work. It's a custom pop of you made by our producer, Stephanie.
I'll do 1,000.
See?
I mean, not 2,000.
You'll do 1,000 of them?
No, no, no.
you guys heard it here.
You heard it confirmed.
Nope. I'll do one for 1,000.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. So at 1,000 subscriptions, so share it with your friends. This is encouragement. Share it with your friends. Get them here. Once we get 1,000, we will hold a contest of some sort that you can enter in and win a custom pop. You'll be wearing a Friendship Supreme shirt for sure.
Obviously.
But yeah,
We get to decide your clothes.
With hearts.
we look forward to that, guys. The next one to bring up is on episode 7, where we did trying things from Canada. We did come across a company named Thrills, who makes a gum that the tagline is, "It still tastes like soap." And Cleve has a small fact about the term. What is the term again?
Pika? Pica?
Pica. Pica-phobia.
Pica.
Picophobia. Not picophobia. Pica is the condition. Because you eat soap. In addition to that, my understanding of this company is when they originally came out with their gum, it was supposed to taste like rose water, which was supposed to give you a fresh breath smell. People kept saying it tasted like gum, tasted like soap, and they kept making fun of it. So when they relaunched their brand years later, they decided to stick with the tagline of "It still tastes like soap," and so now it's become this thing that is popular to eat there.
I thought it was, to try to help those people, but apparently not.
But the fact that there is a condition out there for people that eat soap, you needed to know.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Stomach full of gum.
I mean, you can just chew it and get your kick. This is a diversity episode. All about diversity. I like it. And the last thing I got for you is we talked about in Endgame not really a spoiler now because it's in the trailers at this point, that Hulk is just Bruce Banner hulked out, I would say. And the only real problem that I kind of had with him was that the Mark Ruffalo voice was still just Mark Ruffalo, which is just a tiny man. And I felt like they could have combined it with like Lou Ferrigno, Mark Ruffalo voice. And we talked about.
I feel like there's a mask at Walmart that does a voice changer for Hulk. And you could have done that, and it would have been better.
Right. So we talked about the T-Rex in Jurassic Park and how they made that roar, and just proving that if they want to in this world of movies that they can. The T-Rex roar is a combination of a baby elephant's squeal, an alligator's gurgling, and a tiger's snarl. Its breathing was the sound of air escaping from a whale's blowhole.
That I could hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you guys get tired of hearing about California, but in California there's a water park called, well, now it's Six Flags. It used to be called SeaWorld, but it is Six Flags now. Animal Kingdom. Six Flags Animal Kingdom, something like that. Anyways.
There's also a water park in Texas called SeaWorld. San Antonio.
Oh, then was it called SeaWorld then? What the hell was it called? Marine World. Sorry, thank you. You're right. Because it was different from the chain of SeaWorld, so it's called Marine World. But anyways, now it's Six Flags something or another. And they have the seals there are the seals that did the voice or the sounds of the orcs in Lord of the Rings. Like, and we go there and you hear them make their sounds, and it sounds like the orcs from Lord of the Rings. Anyway, so yeah, it was easy, MCU. What are you doing?
Facts on facts on facts. I love it.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode today. You can expect to find more episodes like this in the future. Most likely we're going to start uploading these episodes on our Patreon for our Patreon investors.
Yeah, for people.
Patreon, is that what it's called? What do you call it?
Patreonians? Patreagons?
We're Patreons. They're just called Patreons.
Patriotopes.
So, most likely we'll be putting this on our Patreon for all of our subscribers there as extra content. We will start labeling these episodes as extra jalapenos. Muy caliente.
So spice. So it'll be the Friendship Supreme with extra jalapenos.
Yeah. And if you guys like them, let us know down in the comments below. And let us know if there's anything else you guys would like us to go in depth about that we've talked about prior, because if we don't know that you want to hear about it, we won't know.
Yeah, you ever want to figure something out but don't want to Google it?
We're like the Ask Jeeves, and you get it like a week later. So Ask Jeeves plus a Raven. You get to send the Raven to go ask Jeeves, and then we do the research, and then we'll send it back to you. Anyway, that was friendship. Or you can write in.
You want to write it down?
You can write into us with any suggestions you might have using our email. Suggestions@friendshipsupreme.com.
You can get a hold of us on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Top three. At Friendship Supreme, except for Twitter. Twitter has no eyes.
No eyes. Because all eyes should be on us. This guy. Sometimes that girl.
This guy? And the other way.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please make sure to click the subscribe and like button if you haven't done before.
Right there.
And if you could do us a huge favor, we would love it if you would go ahead and share our social media with your friends. Even if you don't know someone that might like us, maybe someone secretly is like a closeted into this.
You have to find the geek within everyone. Everybody's got one.
We're just here to help you find the geek within. And it'll get us closer to doing that custom pop contest. So, I've been Michael.
This is Cleve. And pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Bye.